Welcome to Worth Your Time with your hosts from the nationally syndicated Bob and Tom Show, Kristi Lee, and the president and CEO of the Indianapolis Zoo, Dr. Rob Shumaker. Our mission to inform, entertain, and educate with guests from all aspects of life. We guarantee there isn't another podcast that features two hosts with such different backgrounds and discussions with remarkable people doing exceptional things. So let's get started. Here are your hosts, Kristi Lee and Dr. Rob Shumaker.
Dr. Rob, welcome. Here we are again, and it's the month of October. And you know what that means?
Almost Christmas. Oh, sorry.
No, not almost Christmas. That means Halloween. In my family, especially with my kids, Halloween is bigger than Christmas, I have to tell you. Yeah, my Christian mother hated that, Catholic mother, but they are all about being scared, and I have been turned on to these ghost hunting shows forever now because of my oldest. And I thought we would talk to some paranormal investigators tonight. How does that feel?
Brilliant. I am convinced that it's no longer about Halloween, the holiday,
right?
Although that's obviously a tremendous day. It's really about the season.
Yeah.
And I have the opinion now that the season is 8 to 12 weeks long, depending on who you talk to. So, no, seriously, if you, this is, I know, is true, that all the major theme parks around the country, particularly in Florida, started their Halloween events in mid-August.
Really?
And some of them started their decor in late July.
Wow.
So it is now a season that far transcends just that one day. So I'm with you. It is huge. There is a major cultural shift. And what I welcome about that is the interest in paranormal topics. So much more to talk about. So interesting.
So we brought in some experts.
Great opportunity today.
Jane Gerlach has joined us, along with Linda Mutchman.
Very good.
And I got that one right.
Yes.
And ladies, you two have done some interesting work in the field of paranormal investigation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. Yes. What was your first paranormal visit, if you will?
So there have been a few before we were doing investigations.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, it was Halloween night, and we were at a Halloween party at my sister's house. My mother had passed away the year previously. I had walked into the kitchen, and there's this counter. My one sister left and went into the other room, and I was waiting for her. And there's this little window. It's like 3x3 space. That's how big the window is. And I looked over, and my mother's face was in that window. The entire frame of the window. And I just stared at it. I wasn't afraid. I was like, why is her face in there? I was in shock. And I was waiting for my other sister to come out of the other room. And then finally, her face started shrinking smaller and smaller until it was my other sister looking in the window, and I screamed. And then she came in the door. She goes, why were you looking at me like that? And I was like, Mom's face was in the window. And it was just a bizarre thing that took place. So that was,
that was the first
ago.
Encounter you had with a ghost, so to speak?
Like that. There was an incident when we were growing up. We lived out in the country, out in Kokomo, and my bed shook.
Ooh.
I know. That was... I still don't know what happened with that. I actually sat up and I couldn't talk, and it was still shaking. But those were some of the ones that happened earlier on.
Linda, what about you? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just so fascinated. So looking back, do you have any explanation about seeing your mother's face?
No.
None
at all. And it was really strange that when I saw her face, I was calm.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid. I was just shocked maybe. But it was when her face became smaller and I saw my other sister's face that I screamed because then it scared me. It's like, whose face is in the window? But there was no explanation.
And how long after your mother had passed did that happen?
It was actually like a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Did she ever come back again? Have you ever seen her since?
I have not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Your sisters didn't see.
No,
They have not to this day.
they have not.
Linda, what about you?
Well, I mean, as far as experiences before, I mean, the one that is probably little bit different of a topic is more of the dreams I've had more than an experience like that.
Mm-hmm.
And probably a little bit too long to get into, but the dreams I've had that are spiritual like that, where I've had somebody visit me, is my father. I passed like 31 years ago. My mom has passed like 20 some years ago. My brother passed a couple years ago. But after each passing, probably within like a year, I had this vivid dream of each one of them that came to visit me that woke me up. They were so vivid. It startled me out of the sleep that I could not. They were so real.
Totally
Faces.
separate events, not together.
Each one they were separate.
Separate.
In each one they were a specific. They all related to a specific thing that was going on in my life at that time, and that was what was so weird. But it's like when my father passed, he never got to see any of the grandkids. So, and he always loved kids. So when he came back in my dream, my son was about 8 months old at the time, and I saw him where he came and he was looking down at my son who was on the floor. Then he looked up. I could see my father's face. The biggest smile you can ever think of was on his face. My dad didn't smile with the teeth. He had more of a grin.
Uh-huh.
When I saw that, it was like I knew he had a grandson and he was happy. So but it was startling, but I know it was a spiritual. I mean, it was real. And then my mom, it kind of was the same thing where I saw her face. A lot of health issues were going on. I saw her face and I remember coming out of an elevator, I was at a hospital. Then I saw her and she yelled my name. She said, Linda. I turned and looked at her and I thought like, where have you been? But she had already been dead. But then I said, she had a youthful look to her. You could see her face very clear, very, she had a death that was, she was sick. But she looked so healthy, young, vibrant. But I said, I was kind of almost mad. I thought, well, where have you been? I mean, all this stuff's been going on in my life. Where have you been? And she said, I've known all about everything. Then she turned around and walked away and faded in the darkness. But I never forget those dreams. They're so vivid in my head. And then my brother passed, and then we were driving. We always used to go. He would take my two kids, and we would all go somewhere for trips, different places, go to park and do something. And he had his death was not very good either. It's very health issue type thing. But when we were meeting him somewhere at a park in my dream, and I saw him sitting on a bench, and I said, well, we're running late. And I told the kids, I said, well, maybe he forgot or no, but so he sees us, he's waiting for us, and he turns around and looks at me and said, so I go, so I'm waiting for you. And then I walked with him to a house. We walked inside, and he was like, show me where he lived at the time. So this is where I'm at. It's like, he goes, it's small, not much to it. He goes, I said, it's okay, Jimmy. It's fine. But he said, I'm better off now than where I was. And the dream ends. But for me, those are the things that I don't know, that
drove you into this, maybe?
Well,
investigating it more?
Yeah. I mean, that was just things that were added that just made it intrigued my interest that much more, there's something real, there's something out there that I think if your mind is open to it, I think things can connect. But that spiritual connection with my family, my mom, dad, and my brother, it was just through the dream that it happened, but it was so real that, but I never had them again. But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So did you have, you use the word open or openness to it. Were you open to these things? I'm interested in both of you. Were you open to it before these things happened, or did those experiences change your feeling?
For me, I was always open to it, but I believe I was open, but I never really thought about it like that. I just was open to the idea and the concept. But when that happens, I realized that being open is what allowed that avenue or that pathway for them to reach me. But I think each time they had a message for me, it was, I don't know, it was things I will never forget. But I think it goes back, but for me, I think it is, I was always open to it, which I think that allowed that to happen. But it was more obvious at that time for me.
And Linda also, she is on Haunted Discoveries, Family Spirits.
Okay.
We went to Waverly. Do you want to tell me about that? Because it's really an interesting story.
Sure, yeah. Where is Waverly? What is Waverly?
Well, the
Explain.
Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is in Kentucky.
Okay.
By Louisville.
Yes.
It's like a TB hospital that, it has a haunted history that goes back, oh my gosh, for years and years and years. But
And now just abandoned and people can tour it. Is that
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I know them, like, through a person I used to work with, knows the producers. Excuse me. He knows the producers of the show. So I had been talking with them through Facebook and different things, but they were talking about this upcoming series they were doing, like, called Family Spirits, about a lot of different, like, dreams and different connections through families.
Mm-hmm.
So they asked if I wanted to be on the show. So I did the show. They went through the interview process and said, "Hey, we'll send you down."
I went with her.
Then I was telling her about it, and she said, "Well, I'll go." And it's like, okay. So we go, but they never get to sign a non-disclosure. So I never did know where we were. I know it's in Louisville, but I did not know where the interview location was going to be at. And so we go there, and about the day before, I think it was, they said, "Oh, you're going to be going here to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium."
And if you're a paranormal investigator, you're thrilled. You are thrilled to go.
That was like, you're like, "Oh," I said, "What? We're going," it's like, I called her up. I said, "Guess what? You'll never guess what happened." And she said, "Oh, they canceled it." I said, "No." I said, "We're going to Waverly Hills for this thing." But it was, walking into that place, it was amazing.
So while she was doing her interview,
Right.
there was something crazy that happened. She'll tell you about that. But somebody took me for a little tour. They're like, "You want to go on a tour?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he was taking me for a tour, went around a corner, and I heard a growl. And I was like, "Did you just growl or make a funny noise?" And he was like, "No, why?" I was like, "Okay, well, I heard something." And it was pretty crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, but while she was interviewing, what happened that you saw?
Yeah, there's like sets of windows along the back,
Mm-hmm.
like behind, like, the interviewer. But I was talking to him. I was asking they were asking me a question. I was answering the question. And then over his shoulder, I could see outside the window, it looked like a sheet that was just like flapping, like somebody's just flapping the sheet. And I was looking at it, trying to process, like, what am I seeing? But then I was trying to answer the question at the same time. And then it just kind of got like, okay, I just lost my train of thought. I said, "Can we just stop?" I said, "I can't. Now I've just lost what I was saying, and just start over." And he goes, "What happened?" I said, "Well, there's something behind you that I saw out the window. It looked like a sheet. I just don't know what it was. It just threw me off." And so, like, afterwards, we went over there to where it was at. But it was, I said, it looked like they had, for the TV, they had diffusion set up in the windows, like a clear plastic sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it looked like this, but like the wind had caught it. And they said, there's nothing outside the windows that are taped up, or nothing that would have been flying out like that. And during the interview process of that part of it, I did not know it at the time, but they were doing their own investigations while they were interviewing me to see if they can get any kind of activity while we were talking about.
Gotcha.
Whatever
Yeah.
we were talking about. And during that episode, that time when I saw that sheet-looking object out the window, there was a person on top of the floor, the 5th floor, said their meters or what, I forget what they had that was upstairs, but it was going off. And there was something else when they were I was talking about my grandfather, their stuff went off.
Wow.
So there was like all that connection of you're talking about something and kind of opens that up.
So we hear a lot of mental hospitals, sanatoriums, TB hospitals, sometimes prisons. Why do you think those are such an area of focus for the paranormal?
I think, we were kind of talking about this before, but I think there is so much trauma, a lot of death, a lot of emotions that go through at a hospital like that. And I think people die there. There's just things happen that people are struggling with or going through. And I think those, like that residual energy is still there. And I think that to me is a lot of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, there's a lot of emotion and sudden death and that kind of thing.
And there's a lot of them in one place. I mean, maybe ghosts need friends too. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to light this up a little bit because I'm getting kind of freaked out.
I think when people come through, they think, oh, I think maybe they're looking for some kind of
place to land, so to speak. Yeah.
They want some help. They want something to say something.
Like even at Indiana State Sanatorium, though, when we're filming, we hear "get out" often because we've been there a few times. So when we catch it, we hear it at the time, and we have it on our audio too, that is wild.
Yes.
Now, do you all hear it or certain individuals hear it?
Sometimes one or two because we're not standing right next to each other, so it's not super loud.
I
So
see.
a lot of times it's like in your ear.
I see.
But to catch it and then get it on your camera audio, and it's wild to get that proof.
Yeah.
So why should you get out? How do you interpret that?
I don't know. I've thought about that.
Why is there the desire for you to leave?
Are we irritating them? Do they feel like we're, just invading their territory? Are they just not comfortable with other human beings? Because, they are, it was a mental institution, so maybe they don't like other people around and don't understand why we're there. But we go in and we're very respectful and we're saying, you tell them. We actually have a conversation like we're having a conversation with all of you. And we're like, we're here to investigate. We're not here to bother you or cause you any problems or any harm. So, just understand that's why we're here. So we do explain that to them. So,
is it for your safety?
That and out of respect for those that have passed on that are still there.
Get out.
Oh. And that's the other thing that I wonder. Are they telling us to get out because they're concerned?
Right.
There's worse out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, we've thought about that. So that's a good question. Yeah.
Gosh.
I remember at the State Sanatorium, we were trying to think I don't know if it's the noise we heard or we were trying to assess it at that time. Do we actually get out?
Yeah.
We were trying to think what was going on.
And it's too hard to determine.
You try to go through all those things in your head. Like, what is this? Was it somebody trying to say something? Is there somebody, you go through all kinds of things trying to debunk it or try to figure it out. Or there should be a safety thing. Should we just leave?
And there was also at Indiana State Sanatorium, there was a situation. We had a guest with us and we were walking around the building and there were wet footprints down the hall, not where we came from.
Oh.
Is it shoes or feet?
Shoes.
Oh.
It's like, well, did somebody get in? So then your fear kind of ramps up. And we kind of wonder, too, that maybe spirits can feed off of fear. So it's a lower energy if you're not fearful. Fearful is a lower energy. And we kind of wonder if they can kind of pick up on that. too, but yeah, the footprints were wet and it was odd. And they stopped in the middle of the hall.
Yeah, they weren't like they came from someplace or went anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they weren't like you could trace where they went to.
So you don't think that they could have been a person that got in there, obviously.
Well, that's true.
Do they monitor that so you know who's in and who's out?
As much as possible.
Okay. Yeah.
And so were these men's shoes?
They were big
They looked like
footprints.
And the size?
They looked like work shoes.
Yeah.
Work
Yeah.
boots?
Like it had like the lines. It looked like a work boot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me.
Wow.
Yeah, that was weird.
Have you ever had an encounter with a spirit where they touched you or pushed you or anything like that?
Osgoode. So
Yeah.
we found this location. There was a house, found it on Facebook, and I was like, I got a hold of them. I'm like, hey, is this place haunted? And they're like, yeah. So we contacted them. They let us go there.
The one guy, the son that owned it, he actually saw the apparition of like a younger girl, I think.
Yeah.
And for him, I think this spirit, it attached to him, but he got to the point where he could not go. He didn't want to go back in there. He said, you guys can go in, or if he went in with somebody else, but you could tell he was really uneasy about going back in.
He wasn't going to work on it anymore by himself because he used to, and then he quit. So he let us in. But he did see her. Yeah. And he said he also saw her at the top of the stairs. She had her hand on the door frame and saw her sleeve. So that actually occurred too. But we were upstairs at Osgoode, and there was a closet. And Linda's like, I'll go in there. It's like, okay, you go in there, Linda. So we had our cameras rolling. Yeah, you go right ahead. We'll be right out here, girl. So she goes inside.
We have the dowsing rods.
Yeah, we had dowsing rods too, but she's inside. And, we see her, and she has this funny look on her face. And then she comes out. And what happened in there?
I mean, back in the entryway, like I'm just right inside this closet. It's kind of a weird, like corner closet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had the dowsing rods, and I could feel something on my back. Just like somebody just touching just real slightly. And I kept thinking, okay, I'm in a closet. There's no breeze. There's nothing like that. So I'm kind of going over it in my head. Okay, what is this? I thought, maybe it's just like, I would remember kind of going like this, like what, And then the more I thought about it, I kept feeling it on my back. I was like, okay, that's not, it's something else that's touching me. It was the oddest feeling. And I just bolted out. I thought, I'm out of here. I'm just getting out of this. It's weird. And I thought, okay. And I we talked about it. I thought, I'm going to go back in.
She went back in. Yeah.
And I went back there. Then I could feel it on my elbow. And then it started going down my legs. And then it was like, okay, it was enough. But even when we were doing the dowsing rods, that was probably the most powerful time I've ever had using the dowsing rods.
Could you explain those?
I mean, I'm familiar with them for water.
Right.
But can you explain to people that aren't familiar that it's pretty old timey?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, those there were just, they're the ones you had, but they were, you hold them. I don't know if you might correct me if I'm not saying everything, but you hold them. There's a certain way you hold them, and
one in each hand,
right?
One in each hand, like you would in your thumbs, or nothing's going to hold. Nothing can. How you hold them, and you can look in the footage. And I'm not manipulating. I'm not pressing on them. You can see that. And then they're straight, and you say, okay, determine what's inward means yes, and outwards means no, or you determine that from let the spirit say, okay, which one.
But means
so they
yes
manipulate it.
So
they move
manipulate
them.
that.
The spirits manipulate the rods.
The rods.
Okay.
So you ask a question, and I've never had such direct response to using those rods before than at Osgoode. I was in that closet, the same closet that I was being touched, but I don't know. I could ask a question, and they would be like, okay, yes, no.
What questions?
I know there's ones we're asking where I ask, okay, do you want me to leave the closet? No.
Oh,
I mean, there were questions like they got to that point where, you guys said,
Is there
"Get out."
somebody in here with me?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
oh,
I mean,
Now, you said the footage is available. Where can people find that?
it's on our YouTube channel, Paranormal Incidents.
One word, paranormal incidents, or two?
Yeah, actually, it's 2 words. And if you type it in, put underscore between paranormal and incidents,
okay.
Okay.
then it will pop up. But then all those, well, Osgoode's not on there, though.
I think that's on Paranormal
Oh.
Consequences. There's 2 of them that
Okay.
we shared in the past. So
Yeah. But all the current ones are on that one, the paranormal incidents. But it has like all the last three investigations that we've done. But I mean, that one there is like they were such direct answers. They weren't like delayed, like maybe like, but there was like when you say, do you want to leave? You want me to leave? They were like, it was like, no, they flew out. They were like very direct, not
Oh
like
my.
little bit. And yes, it's like they were so, I mean, like they would answer your questions.
Now, you say they, but
I mean, like,
do you,
I don't know. I mean, if it's,
was it that one young woman or more?
That's what we don't know.
You don't know.
no. And sometimes we ask,
if there's,
how many are there, in this building?
Mhm.
And just sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. But the thing with the rods, sometimes we take them other places,
Mhm.
nothing. They don't move. So that's what makes this really interesting.
Because
Gotcha.
we went to
Yeah.
Story Inn. That was
Yeah.
the one, and I used those. I tell you, there was, it was weird. Nothing happened.
Nothing.
The Story Inn is a place down near Bloomington, Indiana, for those people who are just listening that don't know. And it has been long rumored to be haunted. I have got one of our producers at the radio station. He and his wife stayed in a room that was supposedly
The Blue
haunted.
Lady.
The Blue Lady. That's
That's-
exactly right. Did you stay there?
Yeah.
That's where we stayed.
Okay.
Girl, not only did we stay
Yeah.
there, okay, so we called, made arrangements, and she's like, oh, by the way, you're here on the property by yourself
Oh,
all night.
There
I
was
like,
there's no one in the town. It was like
whoa. No one?
no one. So they let us have we got to go to there's a Doc Story, his the house. So we went there, and I mean it was
What's the backstory on this? Why is the Blue Lady? I mean, for those people who don't know the backstory to the Story Inn, do you know?
wasn't she the mistress of
she was the
Dr. Story?
Okay.
mistress of Doc Story, and she lived and died in that room,
Gotcha.
the Blue Lady room. So but there's also a spirit of a young boy there as well that people have seen out in the back garden. But
I've only been there during the day,
Yeah.
so I don't have anything to add to this conversation about the Story Inn. I know that even during the day, though, it's kind of a freaky place. I mean,
it's a weird vibe.
it's a weird
right?
vibe. It's a beautiful place, and if
Yeah,
you get a
right,
chance
it
to
is.
go there, they have wonderful food, and I'm
They
not.
do.
Yeah.
I love the Story Inn, but there definitely is that undercurrent, if you will, of something happened here, or this isn't clean. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah, there's something definitely spooky
Yeah.
about it.
It was so quiet too out there. I mean, it was an eerie quiet. I mean, we would be sitting there. It's like it's a quiet you never
Until
we hear the noises. We hear
so we get into Dr. Story's house, right? And there's all this loud noise going on. I mean, it was loud, and sometimes I get a little testy because I'm afraid it's a human, and I'm going to take care of business because we're not going to have
Oh.
any of that because they're scary. People are scary, ghosts aren't. So, so I mean, I'm stomping and yelling, and I'm going to that front door, and I'm gonna, whatever I got to do, and I turn around, it's like it's a cat
No.
pounding on the door. It was kind of funny.
what it sounded like. I mean, it sounded like somebody's breaking in.
Yeah.
At that point, we knew it wasn't a spirit or anything. We knew that was a sound that was somebody was trying to get in.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, we were sitting there. I was scared. I thought, what is happening? She just bolts out of the chair. I'm saying, where are you going?
Gotta take care of business.
Wait for me. Don't just leave me here. Oh my gosh. But it was the cat sitting out there wanting in. There's like a cat door,
Mm.
doggy door thing.
Right.
But even inside that building, when we were downstairs, there were footsteps upstairs. It wasn't like a creak or a couple of noises. It was definitely footsteps upstairs. And then we also heard, what was that? The EVP?
Oh,
Help me.
Help me.
There was a help me EVP.
What does
Oh.
EVP mean?
So either on camera or recorder, it is something that a spirit can manipulate the frequency and be able to say words that you can't hear, but you can pick it up on a recorder or on a camera audio.
And what does EVP stand for? Electronic
Voice
Phenomenon.
Voice Phenomenon. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Wow. We're going to come back with more stories. I'm fascinated by all of this. What about you, Dr. Rob? Are you? You have your own story. You need to tell these
We've
ladies.
talked about this before. Oh, I think it's remarkable. I
Yeah.
think it's remarkable.
Yeah, Dr. Rob has a great story that you need to hear that happened to him. I've never seen a ghost, and now I feel left out. I want to. I am not afraid. I really believe I've lived in a home that I know someone died in, but it wasn't a sad thing. Do you know what I mean? It was like everyone knew, the family had been there. It was one of those kinds of situations. And so I never, and when the realtor told us, which I don't have to do in the state of Indiana, by the way, that somebody had passed away in that room, I go, okay, I'm fine with that. And then they went on to explain it. And so I never felt a vibe or a ghost or anything. But have you, and we'll get back, I want to come back with that in our next episode. Think about, have you been in a home where there's been a murder or there's been a death and that person didn't want to leave? Or you've had to investigate? Or can you help a family get that spirit to go back wherever they're supposed to be? So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll be back with more with our guests, Jane Gerlach and Linda Mutchman. What are you looking at me
No,
like?
It's one of those rare occasions where I'm a little speechless.
Yeah.
This is remarkable stuff. I mean, paranormal is a great word.
Yeah. Well, you're a scientist too.
I am.
So to be a scientist and to listen to this, I would like to hear what you think about it when we come back as well.
You've been listening to Worth Your Time with Dr. Rob Shumaker and Kristi Lee. If you like what you hear, please give a review wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best compliment. Thanks to our producers, Chris Spangle of Leaders and Legends, LLC. You can reach him at leadersandlegends.net. Also, thanks to Sophie Ritz. I'm Christopher Geisen. Thanks for joining us.